President Biden is now back in Delaware after being diagnosed with COVID. And Joy Reid, here's her spin. She's comparing the president's diagnosis to former President Trump surviving an assassination attempt.
Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. His survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age.
Wow. Jack Brewer is the CEO of the Brewer Foundation, and he joins us now. So the left is now equating the mild cold you get with COVID to being shot and nearly assassinated. Jack, your thoughts?
You have to wonder what's her reality, what's her motive to say something so idiotic. It really is unbelievable. I mean, a man that she gets to watch on television take a bullet, get up and throw his fist in the air and tell the American people to fight in that same instance. And she's going to talk about COVID. First off, it's a illness that Joe Biden has already had, so obviously he naturally has immunity to it. I've had COVID before. Many of us can get COVID and have no symptoms, and so for her to say something so crazy, it just shows you who she is and where she is. It's like she has no life experiences to base any of her opinions off of, and so it's just nonsense. I can't believe people tune in to listen to such garbage.
Yeah, and I don't even know if this comparison is something the Biden campaign would even find very helpful. Right. And also, the former president, he gets grazed by a bullet. The next day he's in Milwaukee, and President Biden gets COVID. Now he's in isolation. He's off the campaign trail. And there has been an evolution in what President Biden is saying about him staying in the race. Initially, he said it would take an act of God for him to drop out. And then yesterday, he did an interview with BET, and he said he would drop out if doctors diagnosed him with a disease. So a lot of this is interesting timing. Where do you think all of this is going?
I think this is just a direct sign that the pressure is mounting around him. And I think, President Biden knows himself. Obviously, at some point, even if you're, any sport you play, any profession that you're in, I'm a football player. And at some point I couldn't play football anymore. I think Joe Biden is having that moment now where he realizes that it's going to be difficult for him to continue to have the wool over the eyes of the American people. We have to remember that, it's been 4 years, since Joe Biden was in the basement. I mean, they've been hiding who he was in the state of his mind for a long time because the media, the liberal media, never put the pressure on him to actually ask questions. He doesn't even go in front of the cameras for interviews. And so you start to kind of feel bad for our nation and for all the people around him who would really put this elderly man through that. I mean, what is their motives? And so I think America is seeing it all front and center. I think just like the poll that came out that said 80% of Democrats feel like the party is in shambles right now. And that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're witnessing right before our eyes.
One correction to something you said, Jack. I would still trust you in the giant secondary way more than I trust Joe Biden with the nuclear codes. And that's not an exaggeration or hyperbole. Meantime, big expectations tonight for Donald Trump's RNC speech. What are you looking to hear the president say? And do you expect him to make an appeal to the black voter to bring even more of them under the tent following what appears to be an exodus away from the Democrats?
I do. I think President Trump will unify this nation today. I think you will see a man that, saw his life flash before his eyes. I think you'll find a man who has been humbled by the hand of God, who has, had days to watch videos of literally God turning his head by a millimeter and being able to survive a violent attempt at his life. And so I think we'll all see that on display. I pray for him. I mean, imagine the strength. I mean, even our strong military men that go through wars and people that are shot at and victims that go through PTSD. I mean, our president is a human being. And so for him to have strength to be able to wake up every day and not let that trauma be a burden on him, and for him to stay strong in front of the American people, I think it'll be another example of his strength and the reason why he's one of the greatest leaders of our lifetime.
Yeah, Trump said that his original speech, he said it was a real humdinger, meaning it was going to be a real fiery address. But after the assassination attempt, he said he ripped up the 20 pages of the speech and completely workshopped it. So we eagerly await to hear what he has to say. It could be a whole new side of the former president that we haven't yet seen. Jack, thank you so much.
Apparently joining us from a bed and breakfast there in Milwaukee. Beautiful wallpaper. Thanks, Jack. Also at the RNC, President Biden blamed